I'm Denise Ryan, Vice President of Brand Management here at Celluma Light Therapy. And today we are joined by the wonderful Pamela. Welcome, Pamela. Please go ahead and introduce yourself.
Thank you so much, Denise. I'm so happy to be here. I'm Pamela McCasland, and I own a skincare studio in Fountain Hills, Arizona called Skin Appeal Beauty Bar. I've been an esthetician for about 14 years, and I've been using the wonderful Celluma Pro for the last 2 years.
Wonderful. Well, thank you. And again, thank you for joining us. So we're here today to hear your journey with light therapy initially, and maybe how Celluma became your device of choice. So can you bring us through that journey a little bit?
Absolutely. I had started hearing about red light, but wasn't sure, got very curious, had some concerns. And I just started doing some research, and I kept seeing in my research the FDA clearances on the Celluma Pro, all of the clinical studies, which made me feel very comfortable. I'm super protective over my clients. And anything that I bring into the treatment room has to be used on me first. So finally, I contacted a couple of different light companies, and Celluma, hands down, was my choice because of the clearances, the professionalism of the company, the videos I was able to find with you and Patrick and many of the other team members were just so genuine. And I ordered one. So for the first year, I'm ashamed to say, for the first 6 months, I used it on me. I had radical radiant glow. And then I don't get a lot of pain, but I did have a little injury. I put it on the bone bruise. It was during a Super Bowl game, and I kept turning, and I knew I couldn't overdose on red light. Or on Celluma Pro. And the knot, I had to use this hand the next day. I had a full 10 clients ahead of me. I could hardly open my hand. By the end of the day, my swelling and my bruise, the inflammation was gone. I could use my hand. I was back at work. It was slightly bruised, but not like it had started out being. So with that being said, there's so many reasons. And then that I love it. I tested on me. I have 2 lovely young adult daughters that at the time one was in high school, one had just moved out. They both loved it for their low-grade acne. And they also both said, teenagers, young adults, all of us in today's world have a lot on our plate. Anxiety. One of my younger daughters, who suffers severely with anxiety, started saying, "Mom, I feel so relaxed when I'm under my red light." So for her 21st birthday, I actually bought one for her and gave it to her, and she covets it, and she puts it on her friends, and they talk about it. So someday I'm sure she will also be a retailer. Also, I can tell you so many stories. I hope I'm not going too far off track, but I get so excited. I had my boyfriend here. I moved into my new condo not long ago. He was hanging the drapes up. I was just trying to close. Ceilings are tall. He's tall. Wobbly was short. The ladder was wobbly and short. He flipped off the ladder, and I thought, this guy has just hurt himself. There was such a huge hematoma on his shin that it scared me. He has a daughter who's a doctor, so we were trying to get in touch with her, and he's also on blood thinners. So I ran and got the red light sitting by my bed. That's where mine stays. And we iced, we put Celluma Pro, we put Celluma Pro on the pain device or setting.
Yeah.
By the end of the day, the hematoma had shrunk. So backing up just a little bit, after using the Celluma Pro for 6 months, then I used it on my clients. After a year, I decided to retail. So my numbers. I don't know if you do, but it's not out of selling a product. It's selling because I know what it does, hands down, on myself, then my family, then my friends, and now my clients. And I can tell you and tell everyone listening, Do your due diligence, study the Celluma Pro, use it, but you must invest with the Celluma Pro personally. And your personal journey will be enough. It's not a sell, it's a show and tell. So if you put that on your clients, they love it. They're relaxed, their skin, it enhances all of my treatments, from just a normal enzyme to a light chemical peel to microdermabrasion to micro needling. It is an enhancement. My hydrofacial, just stunning. I decided I loved it so much and did so well because my clients know me for the last 14 years. They're very loyal. My business started organically without a lot of marketing. It was word of mouth. So my clients know anything that I retail at Skin Appeal Beauty Bar in Fountain Hills, Arizona has been tried on me first.
Your
Everything.
Yeah, your whole testimony and your whole approach to business is completely authentic. You're speaking from the heart and from your own personal experience. And I think that goes a very long way. Marketing I am a marketer, so I believe in marketing and the power of it, but I also believe in truth and authenticity. It's something, it's at the core of everything that we do here at Celluma. When we talk about FDA clearances or studies, it's for real. We don't make up things, and we appreciate that you appreciate the authenticity of the company and the product, and that you felt that and had that same experience yourself. So, and then, as you said, when you have that personal experience, you can share that so authentically with your clients, and it makes everything else just flow so much easier when you've had that experience.
It's not a sell. It's just being truthful and sharing. It helps with pain management, hair growth, bruises, pain, everything. There's so many things, even pets. My friend has a pet. Sadie is a senior dog. She's deaf and blind. And I have the most adorable pictures with little 13-pound Sadie enjoying. She can't see, but she feels the radiation. She feels the energy, the warmth, just penetrating through her fur. And she lays there just like I lay there, or my clients lay there, and she enjoys it. Yeah. She gets up, stretches, and after her session, but it's really true. It might sound funny, but actually, it does work on pets.
Yes, it does. It works equally well on pets. It's not a market that we specifically go after, but it's sort of a word of mouth thing. Human owners often end up using the device on their pets and on their animals, and animals just seem to inherently know what is good for them, and just better than we do sometimes. So
I have the cutest picture, and it's just right here. So let me just show everyone this, because they might have pets that if it just goes such a long way on what it does.
But while you're pulling that up, we've had lots of reports of pet owners with elderly pets having issues with joint issues, arthritic issues, and just improving their gait, their walk, their stance, and decreasing their pain levels, able to go for walks again. Yes. Yeah. Very, very cute. Oh, and she's little. She fits right
her
under
whole
the
body is right. And she stays like that for the session.
Yeah. Yeah,
like you're right. She inherently knows that it's good for her.
Exactly. I really thought at the beginning, because the lights are so bright and because our devices pulse the light energy, which can be turned off if preferred, but it defaults to a pulsing program. And I really thought that animals would shy away from the lights and the pulsing, but it was very quickly proven that not to be the case at all, that they just inherently gravitate towards it. And, more assertive animals like cats will just, try and wiggle in under it and get in there all the time. So we know it's very, very successfully treating a lot of our beloved pets.
And getting back to the lights, one of the most important things that I think us as practitioners can do would be to inform our clients about the Celluma Pro, and our knowledge is that it is so safe. So many people, before I put something red over their face, even though I know about it and they know me, it is my job to inform them this is completely safe. It is not going to hurt your eyes or damage your skin. Try to relax. I'm going to put the sunnies over your eyes.
Mhm.
And I talk to them. And while they're there, I'm massaging their hands. I love human touch. And I just enjoy giving them a lovely hand massage while they're under it. And I do tell them, I say everything that it does, skin tightening, and then I tell them how I've used it and how it gives me the radiant glow. And I just assure them it's not going to damage or hurt their eyes or skin. And I explain to them, what it's doing, the megahertz of energy and what light therapy is, and its FDA clearances and the clinical trials. I explain it to them, and right there, they're so curious. And every client that leaves that hasn't already purchased one has a Celluma Pro brochure. And everyone that's listening, these brochures are point on. They're amazing. You can learn so much just by reading about what they've already narrowed down as a marketer. These
Right.
are the highlighted features
Yes, those are
and all the
those.
awards. I put this in my client's hand and I tell them all about the national awards and how, it's throughout our country as well as internationally.
Sure. And I think that reassurance is very important. There's a lot of confusion. Everybody can go on the internet these days, and it is very confusing for the average person to decipher between what's real and what's not real. There's a lot of nonsense out there on the internet, and all light therapy devices are not created equal. So we always encourage our practitioners to reshare with your clients and patients the importance of a medical grade device that is actually cleared by the FDA and understood and known and proven to be both safe and effective. There's no point in being safe if it doesn't do anything. And there's no point in being effective if it's not completely safe, not just in the hands of trained practitioners like yourself, but also for those of you retailing. It's important that you feel comfortable that the device you're sending home with your patients and your clients that are going to be used in the home on everybody from young to elderly and pets is not going to harm them. This is a low-level light therapy device, and low-level light therapy devices, when correctly engineered, are therapeutic, strictly therapeutic. It's almost impossible to do harm. Of course, there are certain contraindications that we need to be aware of, but and that's all. That information is always on our website and on our literature. And of course, your dedicated Celluma clinical specialist, which is something every Celluma owner has, whether they know it or not. If you call in, you will be asked, what state are you from? Pamela is in Arizona. So we have a dedicated person dedicated to the state of Arizona, and that's your person. And he or she is there to help you through questions, protocol, pricing ideas, marketing ideas. And we have some very advanced marketing ideas as well. I know that you've done for sure you've done symposiums with your
Chelsea is amazing. So
yeah.
all the practitioners and I'm sure Travis is too. I had such a privilege to meet to talk to both of them. They're amazing. They're so much fun and they're so educated. And yes, both gave me. Chelsea is just a text away. I've literally been in a session with a client and I don't know everything. So I tell my client, just one moment, please. And I'm not going to tell you that she can always do this, but every time I've always reached out, it would just be a matter of minutes knowing Chelsea that she would get back to you.
Yeah.
But the marketing ideas are unbelievable.
Yeah. We feel very comfortable. I feel very comfortable saying that our Celluma sales specialists are the best trained in the world on this subject and science of low-level light therapy. So, and we're very strict with what can be said. It's like I always tell them, every client is not for us. And I think that's good advice for everybody in business. Every client is not for you. So every client is not for us. We are a no-nonsense medical, medically regulated company, medical manufacturer with medical devices. So we go strictly by the science, and what we tell you is accurate. In fact, our sales specialists are trained to not say anything that cannot be backed by the science and that they can't point to themselves. So they actually are educated to a very high standard. And then, of course, the integrity is very important at the company as well. So I think that should give a lot of maybe newer people the reassurance that they have the backing of the company forever. You're always our customer. The purchase of the device is it's really just the beginning of the relationship. And you mentioned Chelsea and Travis by name. They're actually our national reseller specialists. So they take care of you when you move on from being a professional account to being a retailer of the devices. And again, it's not, they don't just get you up and running. They stay in touch with you to move you through various more advanced stages of working with a client base and what you can do and how to do it. They give you a lot of tools. They give you a toolkit.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Very professional. The integrity is I've watched and listened to every move. Just I've been so impressed. That's why I sell a retail Celluma Pro.
Nice. Well,
I also have dedicated one room. So I have a wellness room, which has the full body Deluxe as well as a Celluma Pro. So I have clients that come in and I incorporate a vibration plate with that. And I've educated them so they'll have their full body treatment with their face as well. They love it.
So they're getting full head to toe. So tell us a little bit about how you market your deluxe services in particular. I think a lot of people love the idea of full body light therapy, especially our experienced long-term Celluma Pro practitioners, because they get the benefit. It's often, I guess, as a skin therapist or expert, a lot of the people here watching today are in that category, but we also have chiropractors and acupuncturists, a lot of wellness practitioners, medical doctors, and they're using the body, the device in different ways and on different parts of the body. But when you come to full body light therapy, it's going another step beyond that. And people are often very curious about it, especially if they've had the success with the Pro. And then they're always curious about, well, how do I move from the Pro to the Deluxe? How do I explain that benefit and to my patients or clients? And so have you any tips for the practitioners listening here today?
It's just as easy as the Pro, except for you're going to cover your entire body. There's no difference. There's just more of it penetrating. So if I have a client who is a league golfer or an avid jogger or someone who works out regularly or someone who has arthritic joint pain, they are my prime candidates. But I don't exclude anyone because you feel so exuberant and alive after you come out from underneath that one. I can't wait to have my own for my home, but I do use mine at work and leave it there because I don't want to travel with it as much as the Pro, the small unit is so portable.
It's a little bit bigger, although it weighs only 6 or 7 pounds, but even so, it's a little bit bigger to move around. So were you swayed at all by the fact that it didn't take up a full room and that you could either hang it on the back of the door? Did that help your decision?
It really did, Denise. I had looked at a full body unit that was a hard case. It was the size of like the old suntan beds, which are no-nos, by the way, but it was a new manufactured product. And I researched. And at the end of the day, I was like, Celluma Pro is my choice. It is my choice. Not to mention the other one it was just something that I could have done, but I didn't want to make that kind of a financial commitment. The Deluxe was much more affordable. I have no regrets for purchasing it. My clients, I'll take them from my treatment room into my wellness room, which is right next door to the rooms are side by side. And I'll just have them in their wrap, bring them over. They lay on it. They love it. I have really nice sound bowls, our ocean waves going. I
Nice.
dim the lights. They absolutely walk out like they've just had a massage. They'll make these, oh, that felt so good. And it's just a wonderful
So
thing to
Pamela,
hear.
do you set them under the device and then start it, or do you leave them in the room to get kind of under it themselves and start it themselves? People ask that question a lot.
It's a great question but I have spa etiquette knowledge. It's the easiest thing. Give the men a robe or the women a wrap. I ask them to undress except for their underwear. And then when I have them lay on the bed, I have the mat like a towel held up so I do not see them or see their body. I give them that privacy and they feel very confident with that.
Right.
And then I lay the mat on them and I tell them when I walk out, just open the robe or the men to slip it off.
Right.
Or even so, if a gentleman wanted to wear his shorts, he could do that and not, the men aren't as modest, and I'm professional enough to where it doesn't freak me out because I know my clients, they're lovely.
And
so I would caution anyone to be careful, but
of course. So it's a little bit like what happens when you get a massage and the massage therapist just holds up the whatever it is, the blankets or whatever, while you turn over, that sort of thing. So that's how we have trained practitioners, but we still get a lot of questions on that. So that's
just overcome the fear, be professional, and do it once or twice, and there's never a problem. I also have one of my assistants always use our Cavi wipes. When I retail or sell a unit, I include box of these as well as an extra pair of hard goggles, also a case. And then for the treatment in my wellness room, Denise, I offer it at $200 for 6 treatments. I talk to them, educate them as they go in the room, as they leave the room, and on their 6th treatment, then I offer them $150 back to go off the price of a pro or a deluxe. And with either purchase, they're still going to get their case, their Cavi wipes, $150 off. So they have a lot of incentive.
So and it's almost like a what do you call it? A
membership.
Yes, I love that. That's a great idea. That makes it a little bit easier because they've already made an investment and now they're getting that little investment back. It's not lost. So that must encourage them and make them feel good.
Another thing that I have is when I have a new client or my old clients, every time they come in, the Red Light Pro is a part of our service. So before they leave, the ones that have not experienced the full body, the Deluxe, they get a card with a complimentary full body treatment in my wellness room.
Nice.
And I'll have these in my purse. My assistants have them in their purse. We give them out regularly. So we'll have people that come in and we don't just turn them loose. We go in there, we tell them what the settings are. We explain to them what it is and that it's safe and FDA cleared in a class 2 medical device. We ask them about the few contraindications to make sure they're not. And the room is just so relaxing, but this is another way I promote it. They receive this in one of these, and they've already heard me speak about it or front desk.
And they can take that brochure home to read it in the comfort of their own home. So, that sounds like a very easy, doable plan. I think, again, the reassurance from you to your clients is the most important thing. You have to get comfortable with your products, your devices, understand the technology to a certain point. You don't need to be an expert.
Rocket science, yeah.
Because you need to be able to explain it to your patients or clients in language that they're going to understand. And then they need to see the benefit for them. If it's, if their big concern is aging skin, well, that's what you talk about. If their big concern is, somebody at home with arthritis, well, I can use it for my aging skin, but I can take it at home for the arthritic person at home, even if it's the dog. So you have to find out what their needs are, what their concerns, and then share the value, especially in the home, because nearly every member of the family can usually avail of a Celluma device. I know in our house, it's used every single day for one issue or another. It's by our bed and it's by our sofa, so that it's always there ready to go.
Yeah. In my home too. I had it on at 5 a.m. this morning. That's the best way to understand what a Celluma is to invest in one for yourself. As I did, I tried it for 6 months and then I knew I'd retail it in my store. My family, my friends, practitioners listening, you'll receive so many referrals. My clients now have started with one, they end up with two because the husband, who sometimes is a client as well, will use it and they want to use it at the same time. And it's just a part of their home.
And then they end up buying gifts for Mother's Day and different seasonal events, holiday.
I am so sorry to overspeak you, but you reminded me of a story that is so amazing. If I can share it, I would love to. I have a beautiful client who's seasonal client. She came in, she's an equestrian and really works out hard. So she'd been using Celluma Pro for her face. She could tell the difference. So she ended up with the Pro. And then I was like, well, you need to go into my wellness room and just let me give you a complimentary try. Never even thinking about a sale of a full body. I really wasn't. I'm thinking about, I want you to feel well. So she uses it. She comes out. She tells me how amazing she feels. Then we start talking, and her son, who was in a horrific logging accident, near death. They never expected him to walk. They didn't expect him to survive. Then he survived. They didn't expect him to walk, but he walks. He was in a lot of pain. And she said, I want a full body mat. Well, she had one. She let him use it. He loved it. He told her mom, this is the only thing that seems to be ridding my inflammation and my pain. She would tell you this herself.
Yeah.
Chelsea is in touch with her from time to time if need be, and so am I. So a few weeks goes by, she comes back in. Now she's purchased a Deluxe and a Pro, which is the small one and the large one, everybody, and there's different sizes in the Deluxe. She comes back in, she orders 2 more Deluxe XL and 3 more Pro. So her gifts were to her son, both sons, herself and her husband. And then she wanted both of her daughter-in-laws to have for their face.
For them. So yes, because you're giving a gift that keeps on giving, and the gift of wellness. And there's no greater gift that you can give anybody. So getting back to how that all started, you were very generously offering a free treatment. The first one is complimentary on you. And that's actually something we promote in the marketing segment of most of our webinars. We say, make sure you're offering your existing clientele a free Celluma treatment. That gets them to maybe purchase down the road from you, but it certainly will encourage more light therapy services that you're already offering anyway. So I think that's a great tip. And I'm glad to hear it when it's going so well for you, because it's something we've espoused for a very long time. Yeah.
You already know it. And now I know it. And
Yeah.
everyone that I tell about that owns one loves it. And it's not a sell. It's just a matter of educating your clients, your friends, your family, starting with yourself. You'll love it. It's
Uh,
amazing at what
yeah.
it does.
You won't
It
want to,
really
you won't
does.
want to be without a Celluma, that's for sure.
That's so true. Another client, I had her and I was like, I was doing her treatment. She travels all over. She has a home here and there, and she just travels all over the airport with her Celluma. And she says,
Me
I love
too.
it. I do. And I love that it has international plugs.
Yes.
But I was looking at her hair and I said, you've got a lot of little baby hair. And she went, I know the Celluma is making my hair grow. I was like, yes, I knew it
Amazing.
was. And the same with
Amazing.
my hair. I've actually, with COVID, did have a little bit of just shedding more than normal. And I kept seeing these little baby hairs. And now it's thicker than it's ever been. And I have my male clientele that also can attest to that. So
That
that's a plus.
That's really interesting because your hair is glossy. You can see the shine on it and it's full and thick. I have Northern European, very thin hair. So my husband used it initially and he saw a dramatic improvement. The protocol for that using the Celuma Restore is every other day for 16 weeks. And it was quite dramatic. So I don't have any hair loss, but I do have very thin European hair and I have a very high hairline. It goes back to here. So I've always joked all my life about like, oh, I have to cover my bald spots. They're not, they've always been like that because
It's
that's
just the growth.
hairline. But so when I saw the improvement for my husband, I thought, well, even though this is my natural hairline, I wonder if I could somehow retain the hair for longer. Because I was never a
Yes.
person who could grow my hair very long because my anagen phase is actually quite short. I don't know if you
Mhm.
know, but the anagen phase is the growth phase of the hair, and it can be between 2 and 7 years. And people at the 2 year that have problems growing their hair, it means that they actually lose the hair from the follicle sooner. So after I didn't know this years ago, but I learned that that's clearly what it was with me. I could never have like really long hair down to my waist. So people with waist long hair and have no problem growing their hair and it grows really quickly, it's because their anagen phase is much longer, maybe 5 or 7 years. Mine was probably only about 2. So I thought, well, I wonder if I could even hold on to more of those hairs. So I have been using it. And I have, let me see, I'm looking at the thing. So hairs here never would grow very long, and they're growing longer. I mean, they will literally grow to that long, and so they'd end here. But now I can get them down here. So
Yeah.
it's definitely, I'm seeing a difference. It also makes my hair grow faster. There's no question about that.
And that it looks so healthy too.
Thank you.
And I know that mine's an illusion. It does because it's darker, but I also have that European finer hair, believe it or not. And I have the natural receding hairlines that
Yeah.
start back. And I feel like it's the thickest and healthiest it has ever been.
Yeah.
And I
Good.
do attribute that to the Celluma Pro.
Yeah.
So ladies and men, proof here from both of us.
Yeah. It's so
The
amazing.
studies are proof. They don't need me. The studies prove it.
Yeah, it's absolutely amazing because we've only been on the hair restoration train for about 2 years. We got the Celluma Restore, I think 2021 it was cleared for hair restoration. So we had to start learning about hair restoration for the first time. And I was really astonished to see our before and afters. So we knew the science, we knew we had designed the device that it should work following the known parameters. But when we started to get the after pictures, we were all surprised. I mean, we thought, okay, well, hopefully we'll see a difference, a noticeable difference, something what you'd call an observable difference. But we were actually shocked at the difference. So we've had, now it's 2 years, so we've had lots and lots of people really feel like it's changed their lives. And it's mostly because men seem to adjust to losing their hair so well, unless they're younger men, which is much harder to take. But women from about 40 on tend to lose or at least have thinning hair. So that's devastating for women. So I tell especially skin therapists all over the world, estheticians here in the US, don't underestimate the value and the power of red light therapy for hair restoration. You have people's heads almost in your lap daily. And
You
you
do.
can
That's right.
just, the Celuma Restore, by the way, we haven't mentioned this, but it's really a device that is only suitable to retailing. So what we often suggest for those of you that are fans of the Celluma Pro is that you do the Celluma. Have you seen the pictures where we have the Celluma over the arched over the face, but then you can place the Celluma Restore over the head at the same time?
Yes, I
And it
have
doesn't,
it right here.
it doesn't extend the duration of the treatment, but that's a good way to, that's a good way to, so you can do it that way and then do the Pro over the face. So it doesn't extend the duration of the treatment on your table, but it does give your client or patient the experience of the hair treatment. And then the idea is to retail them for home use, because you do have to use it much more frequently. It's a very different protocol for hair restoration, but it really works. It's amazing.
Doesn't the Pro give you the same as well as the one that's just
So
specifically?
that's a great question. So the Pro does offer red light. It's the same wavelength, but the algorithm is different. So for us as a company, because the Celuma Restore has a different program, a different algorithm, so different emission of the red light therapy, and there's no pulsing, we can only claim hair restoration with the Celuma Restore. Will the other red light therapy devices like the Pro give you results? Clearly, you've seen results. So it's not that it won't, it's just that when we show you our before and after pictures, we're very by the books, very ethical. So this is the results we know you can get using a Celuma Restore. So that's why we will, and everyone's trained for that reason, and it's a legal issue. We have to, but it's not that red light therapy, good light therapy device couldn't. It may be different. It may take longer. Yeah. And the other thing about the Pro that really is very different is that it's hard to keep on the head because it's so much bigger than the Celuma Restore. The Celuma Restore, you roll it up into a coilet and then it sits. I did it on my head last night watching TV.
Yeah.
And it sits there very snugly. You can move around. I can be eating my snacks and taking a drink and fiddling with the remote control, and it stays on the head very steady. I've tried to use the Celluma Pro on the head, and it's quite difficult. If you're really determined and motivated, you could, but
I'm calling Chelsea when I get off the phone. I need to place an order. I'll be an investing one for me. I really thought they were. So see, I learned something every day. So yeah, I can tell you I do get results, and I've seen my clients' results, and I'll even in the treatment room, really when I take the headband off right before the Pro goes on, I'll massage their scalp and kind of, get them prepared. So there's my moment to tell them honestly about what it does for hair restoration and my fallout. I used to always have a lot of, when I shampoo, I don't know about you, but I would just not balding, but just have a lot of fallout. It's like half as much now.
Yeah. And people, I've been surprised at how quickly people have reported results. 16 weeks is not that long of a protocol when it comes to hair restoration. Other FDA cleared hair restoration devices have protocols that are up to a year. And that's because the phases for the hair cycle are quite long. So you don't just stop at the 16 weeks, you keep going with a regular maintenance. And that's the benefit, again, of having one at home. But I don't know where I was going with that, but it really does work. Oh, I know.
How dynamic it is.
Yeah, I know what I was going to say. The key thing, I think, with the hair restoration is having the before and afters. And we have those pictures to provide. And that's very telling. I always tell practitioners to try over time to become proficient at taking before and after pictures, because it's one thing for us to give you pictures that we've been provided by other practitioners, but it's very different if they're yours, because again, your clients trust you. And if they see ours, well, they never looked photoshopped, because they're not, and they come in from amateur photographers like you and me on our cell phone, it's still different. It's like company provided versus here's what I saw with myself or my husband or my mother or these 10 clients. So before and after pictures can be a very important part of growing your business. In fact, we've developed a new webinar on just before and after pictures.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I will be looking into that for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
I have another client. She's a keynote speaker, motivational speaker, travels a lot. She loves it before makeup. So she uses a very holistic product that I retail, Gina Ardell, if anyone's familiar, but she'll put it on before. And she said for stage, it just gives her the most, and I know that because I know what it does when I get up in the morning. So there's so many pluses. And acne, we didn't even cover that.
Yeah.
Acne, it's unbelievable. It's one of the things when I can't do anything else, they'll get a full acne treatment with Celluma Pro, which I loved your in the Skin Deep magazine. I'm sure that was your ad that the protocol. It was beautiful.
Oh yeah, that was quite recently, yeah. And it was a
Yes,
pretty simple protocol, but
it was amazing.
we always talk about the protocol using Celluma by itself because that's our area of expertise, and we don't ever pretend to tell skin experts what you should be doing in conjunction with that. But and it's also important that we share with you what Celluma can do by itself, but then we encourage you as experts to add on or add into the protocol those products that are suited to the particular condition that you're treating.
Right.
And then you're going to see even more enhanced results, obviously. So we leave the product choices and the product brands up to you to decide on. So this has been lovely. And thank you for mentioning acne, because you're right, we didn't talk about that too. And we know how helpful it is for acne. It's like everything else, it's helping the body heal from the inside out. So
active teenagers. I have one of my best friends, her daughter was a serious soccer player in high school, and we had that on her joints almost every night during season. She would sprain an ankle, they'd request it. Finally, they invested in one. Auntie Pam didn't have to keep providing, but it really helped with even young people who have very miraculously large amounts of collagen and they repair quite easy. These sprains were so serious, and the Celluma Pro, she would tell everyone about it. So I did get a lot of referrals from the high school soccer team.
I love that.
Me and mom wants it for a number of things, and dad needs it for working and feeling stiff after a hard workout.
Yeah.
So it's a great family device.
It's so versatile. And that brings me to a point that we haven't mentioned, but it just reminds me to mention the shape taking aspect, because a lot of the devices, in fact, all of the devices, and the reason we're the only one with the shape taking aspect is because we have a global patent on that. So that shape taking aspect is hugely important. It's the inventor, Patrick Johnson, back when he was looking at light therapy, he spent 3 to 6 months looking at the science, was very skeptical in the beginning, and then realized that the science was very, we like to call it robust science, coming from very prestigious universities and research institutions. So it took him a while, but there was so much of it, he became convinced that this was a legacy he'd like to leave behind, and that legacy would be bringing light therapy and the benefits of light therapy to the masses. So the one thing he noticed when he looked at the devices that were available 11, 12 years ago on the market was that they were all rigid panels. And like a rigid panel is not going to wrap around your hamstring or your calf very well, or your small hand or wrist injury. So he did what it took to come up with a device that would hold its shape and be capable of being placed anywhere on the body, follow the curvature of the spine or the curvature of the lower back, and then also be capable of wrapping around smaller joints so that you get that nice even distribution of the light energy to penetrate through a joint and give the maximum benefit. So that shape taking aspect of the device is hugely important to its efficacy. So it's that's why the whole family can use it. You know, the pets can lie under it, and then we can wrap it around joints and help. You know, teenagers often have gorgeous skin unless they have acne, so they don't need it for a while. But you know, if they're athletic in any way, or you know, just fall down on the sidewalk, it's very nice to have something that can heal and help the tissue heal and repair and help with bruising and swelling, edema. It's yeah.
Pre and post surgery.
Yeah.
I have so many clients who use it for pre and post. And ladies, if you've had a night out and your feet are killing you because you pulled out the heels, I put it on my feet. I stand all day. I prefer to stand. I do not sit. And my feet, occasionally I'll wear the wrong shoe. I put it on the bottom of my feet, and within hours, the pain is gone.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
we can go on and on.
We could go on and on. I mean, the stories are endless. My husband is a series road cyclist, and after his on the day he does it, he will use Celluma on everywhere from the waist down, basically. So he'll watch TV for a few hours and it just moves down the body. And you reminded me of the feet because it'll end up on his feet as well. So, you know, it keeps him really in good shape and comfortable on the bicycle because he really pushes himself very hard. Yeah.
That's
no, my dear, this was absolutely fabulous. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Denise. It was such a pleasure. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you very much. And I'm sure the viewers will find your tips very enlightening. I actually learned a few things. So again,
I did from you. Of course I would, but I thought I knew a lot. But thank you.
Well, that's great. Thank you so much. And I hope we see you again soon.
I do too. Likewise.
All right,
have a beautiful rest of your day.
You know what we forgot to mention? That we have National Celluma Light Therapy Day today. And you are also our practitioner of the month for July 2023. So for those of you looking in here today, you will see a lot more of Pamela in the coming weeks. So forgot to mention that highlight.
I am thrilled, and I would be here regardless to that, but that's just a little cherry on top, and I am overjoyed about that. Thank you.
You're so welcome. Thank you very much, Pamela. We're going to sign off now.
Thank you. Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.